we're gonna get started. Howdy and happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday and I'm thankful that all of you are here today. We're gonna get started with a more restorative mat class today. So you're gonna see a little bit more stretching than normal. I actually have not done this mat class specifically since the pandemic, and we were just on Zoom. So I hope that you guys will enjoy it. Again, it is more restorative in nature. It does pull in some of the main Pilates exercises, but we're not going to hit those super hard today. You'll see a little bit more stretching, which hopefully you think feels nice. And I'd love your feedback after class on it. So let's go ahead and get started. We are starting in quadruped. So if you just go ahead, shift it up and over. And I apologize. We're actually starting in child's pose. I know. I'm trying to remember my my format for this class. And we do start in child's pose with knees apart, toes together, arms lengthening forward, perhaps allowing our head to rest down on the mat below. We could even take our hands under the forehead if that's comfortable for us. But we're starting with our breath. Inhale nice and deeply into the belly and exhale slow and controlled. Let the belly fill up with air completely. And then we're working to do our best to exhale all of that breath out and away from the belly and the lungs. Let the chest sink down low to the mat below. Feel that stretch through the shoulders, through the hips, maybe even through the low back. Another deep inhale. Let the belly fill up with air. Press the thighs away and bring the belly back in. From here, we'll take that right hand, threading it through the window that our left arm creates, getting a little rotational stretch here. Take note of how this feels for your shoulder, for your back, and make any adjustments that you may need. From here, we thread that hand back into child's pose, taking the left hand, doing the same thing on the opposite side. Resting into the mat, keeping the hips steady. Find a big inhale. Exhale back into child's pose. From here, we'll gently walk our hands over to the right side. Finding a lateral stretch here, we reach the bones back towards our heels. And then we'll walk those hands up and over to the left side of the mat. Listening in on how the side body tunes into this stretch. Maybe taking note of how our hips feel as well. As our hands come back to center, we'll roll through the spine, coming up into that quadruped position I mentioned earlier. Hands below the shoulders, knees below the hips. From here, we tuck the toes under, beginning to shift the hips back, and then draw the shoulders over the fingertips. Let the spine get long here. We sink back, feel the stretch through the foot, and then press forward, stretching through the forearms. One more time. Sink it back and stretch it forward. From here, we're pressing the hips towards the ceiling into down dog. From this position, we let our heels reach into the mat while our hips and sits bones lengthen towards the ceiling. Maybe allow your chest to fall through those arms. We could even take a slight alternating knee bend to find a stretch through our calf muscles. From here, we're taking that right leg up to the ceiling. To three-legged dog. Feel free to let that right knee bend if that feels right for you. From here, that of our hand into a runner's lunge. Yep, that's a big one for me. My hips don't move like they used to. Let that back knee draw itself down to the mat. Finding a nice hip opener here. If able or wanting to, we can slowly rotate towards that front knee. Maybe even taking that outside hand to the ceiling as we rotate. Find a big inhale. As you exhale, the hand frames itself back down towards the mat below. From here, the back knee lifts off of the mat. We'll gently walk our back foot in. It comes in just slightly, enough to come up into a little hamstring stretch for the front leg. We press our hips to the ceiling. If we need to walk that back foot in even more, feel free to do so. Holding it here for another breath. As we exhale, come back into your runner's lunge. From here, that leg reaches back behind us. Into down dog we go. Once again, listen to your wrists. If they need a break at any point during this, feel free to. Sending our left leg to the ceiling. Begin to open up through that left hip. Slowly but surely pulling that left foot forward back into that runner's lunge on the other side. We may notice that one side is a little bit easier to transition into compared to the other, and that's okay. Let that back knee drop to the floor. Rolling and rotating towards that knee that's up at the front. We can even take that hand up above. Our eye gaze follows the hands. Big breath. As we exhale, come back down, framing the hands with the mat below. As we lift the back knee, prepare to draw the back foot in and find that triangle pose or stretch through the front hamstring. The chest collapses over that thigh. Notice that you can walk the back foot in a little bit more or shift through your hips to find a different type of stretch for the hamstring. From here, our hands come back to center. That leg extends behind us for runner's lunge. And as we send the leg behind us, we find our first plank of the day. Shoulders stacked over the wrists. Holding it here for a brief moment. 3, 2, and 1. The knees come down. Shift it back into your rest pose. Roll out through the wrists. Wiggle those fingers and breathe. From here, we round through the spine, slowly lifting up. Roll the shoulders back. Coming around onto our sits bones. We start with a roll up, or a controlled roll down rather. Hands behind the hamstrings. Lift up through the crown of the head. Big inhale. Exhale, scoop through the pelvis, round the spine. One more time like that. Inhale, open. Exhale, round, holding it here. Can we let our spine connect with the mat below? Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, lifting the head and shoulder blades up. Roll the spine up, bone by bone by bone. Inhale at the top. Exhale, rounding, scooping through the pelvis and connecting with the mat. At the bottom, our hands reach all the way overhead. Big inhale. Exhale, curl the spine up. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. And exhale, roll it down. Very good. From here, moving into our full roll up, those legs extend all the way out in front of us. Hands are already overhead. We tuck the chin, peeling the spine off of the mat. Don't let those heels lift. Oh, try your very best. Roll it over. Coming back to the mat, connecting bone by bone by bone. From here, if you'd like to, we can bring one of those knees to the chest and use it as leverage to guide ourselves up with a bit more control. We can do the exact same thing on the way down. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, rolling up and over our thighs. Big stretch there, and release down. Go ahead and do 2 more of those. On this last one, we allow ourselves to connect with the mat, holding it in a nice laying supine position here. Hands by our sides. Let's go ahead and walk the knees in, or feet in with the knees up. Hands come out to our sides like a figure T. The knees drop over to the left. Can we allow our eye gaze to look in the opposite direction, deepening that rotational stretch? Big inhale through the nose. Exhale, sink the knees over to the other side. And our eye gaze, once again, looks in the opposite direction. Inhale. Exhale, rotate up and over. We'll do 1 more in each direction. Inhale. Exhale, sweeping over. Let the knees drop. Shoulders remain connected. And then we slowly but surely bring the knees back to center. Hands come down by our sides. Preparing for our first bridge, press the hips to the ceiling. Let the glutes activate and lower down. Inhale, exhale, press up. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, lower down. Can we let ourselves find some space between our shoulders and the ears? Doing so can help us open up through the body and create a nice long neutral spine. 1 more time. Hold those hips lifted, an isometric hold here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We release the hips down and fold the knees into the chest. From here, we'll just rock ourselves from side to side, rolling out through the ankles if needed, and then slowly roll ourselves up into a seated position. From our seated position, we send the legs out in front of us. The arms float forward, shoulders drop back and down our spine. For a spine stretch forward, we round the chest over the thighs and then stack it up with control. Big inhale, exhale, roll it forward. Let's think more intentionally about that spinal articulation and how we mobilize our spine. Reach and lift. Use your breath. One more time. Inhale, exhale, roll it forward. Inhale and exhale, up, up, and up. From here, the feet come apart. The arms reach out in opposition for saw. We rotate in one direction, then we roll down, reach for the pinky toe. Come up nice and tall, rotate, and roll down, reach, and lift. If you'd like to add that pulsing sensation, you can do that for 2 pulses or maybe even 3. Come up, rotate, roll down, reach, 2, 3. 1 more time in each direction. Roll through the spine. Keep that articulation at the primary focus here. 3, 2, 1, and lift up. Bring those hands down by your sides. We're going to walk ourselves back and onto those elbows, getting a little chest opener here. The chest just reaches long, our spine reaches long, and our chest opens up. If we'd like, we can add some movement in the lower legs, lifting the right leg up and flex the foot down. Keep that chest open. Point it up, flex it down. 2 more on either side. Up, up, and down. Last one, draw the belly in towards the spine. Last one, and release. Very good. From here, we're gonna flip onto our bellies. As we come up and over to our stomachs, we go right into our swan exercises. So our hands come right under our chest. Beautiful. All right. Lift the chest off of the mat. Keep the feet connected and lower back down. Our eye gaze is looking towards the mat and lower. Very good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 2 more. Up we go. And down. Last one. From here, moving a little bit more through that spine. Our hands press into the mat, lifting our chest up. If you had a belt buckle on, imaginary of course, it would stay glued to the floor below. If that range of motion doesn't feel great for our low back, operate within your body's needs for today. Lower down. Inhale. Exhale, press the floor away. As you come down, control your body using that arm strength. 2 more. Press. And release. 1 more time. As we come down, let your hands come one on top of the other. The forehead releases towards the backs of those hands, and we'll allow the tops of our feet to connect with the mat below. Lift up that right heel. Activate through the glute, then lower down. Left heel lifts off the ground and lowers. Opposite leg. Working through that hip extension. Glutes are activating and lower. Good. Keep that leg long and extended. 1 more here. All right, looking for this change. We take that right glute, let it activate, and lift the right heel. So very similar, exactly what we just did, only now we're gonna slide that right leg out to the corner of our mat. Bring it back in. Lower down. Left leg, activate through the glute, lift the leg up, hold for a moment, then slide that leg out to the diagonal. Beautiful. Come back to center and lower down. 2 more on either side. Right leg lifts, hold. Sliding out to the diagonal. 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to center, then lower down and relax. Left side, activate through the glute. Slide that leg out. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to center and lower. Again, we have 1 more round on either side. Right slides out. Hold. Come back in. Release. Left leg up. Slide it out. Pull it in and lower. Very good. Hands come under the chest. Press up into a plank. Toes tuck under. Hands are below the shoulders. Our second plank of the day, only for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The knees release, and we let those knees come under our hips. Starting with our lumbopelvic mobility, we scoop through the pelvis, bringing those hips under. Then we send our sits bones back behind us. And I just kind of lifted my shirt so that you guys could see that this action is really only in the lower lumbar spine. It's not up through our shoulders. It's isolated to that bottom half of our spine. 2 more. Send your sits bones back. Curl them under. Last one. Now, round up through the entire spine. Pull those shoulder blades away from one another. Then drop the sternum through as the sits bones reach back. Round it up. And pull through. 2 more times. Last one. Very good. From here, we find that nice neutral spine. Take the right arm forward. Working on our spinal balance, the left leg extends behind us. Hold it. And release down. Left arm reaches forward. Left leg reaches back behind. Let that right glute engage. Eye gaze is looking down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Continue to alternate, and I'll let you guys take this at your own pace. Know that you can keep it slow and you can hold that side steady to really challenge your balance. Maybe we hold it for a few breaths. Maybe we just want to mobilize our spine. You get to choose. We'll do 1 more on either side. And after you've finished your 1 more on either side, take it down into your rest pose. Remember, rest pose is knees apart, toes together. Hands can be forward, or we can even let those hands reach back behind for those ankles. Take some time here to roll out through those wrists, through the fingers. Finding another big inhale. Exhale, hands come forward. We lift ourselves up and we'll come onto our sides for side lying work today. So for today's side lying work, we are starting laying on our side with our spine aligned with the back edge of the mat. We can cradle our head or perhaps lay it down on that bottom arm. Lift up through the rib cage. Think about being able to thread an imaginary piece of paper between your rib cage and the floor below. Knees start bent, and we work through our clams to begin with. So top knee is pressing back behind us while our hips remain stacked, one on top of the other. Pressing up and come down. Heels and toes remain connected. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, keep your knees connected, lift the heel off of the mat and come down. So we're working through internal rotation here. Is your rib cage still lifted? Are we keeping the core nice and strong? 3, 2, and 1. Coming down. Send your legs all the way forward to that front corner of the mat. Lift and lower through the top leg. Good. 3 more. 2, and 1. Hold it lifted. Pulse that foot to the ceiling. 4, 3, 2, 1. Point the toe. Circle that leg forward. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse it. Let those inner thighs sweep together. 3, 2, 1. Top leg lifts and flexes forward. Hinging at the hip, we kick back and kick back. Good. Forward, back, sliding that leg in a straight line forward, straight line back. Use that top arm to help you balance. 2, and 1. From here, connect those inner thighs. Finding a nice long leg, reach it to the ceiling and come back down. Spring up and lower. Listen to your hips here. If you feel that sensation of wanting to fall back with those hips, that may mean that we need to decrease our range of motion. 2, and 1. Up and down, bending the knee. Go ahead, get a little myofascial release here. knee is lifted off of the mat. Once again, I'll remind us to lift our rib cage off the mat. Bottom leg lifts and lowers. Good. Can we let our eye gaze look forward as well? We want our spine in a neutral position. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold that bottom leg lifted. Pulse it to the ceiling. 3, 2, 1, and circle the bottom leg forward. Initiate that movement from the hip. Reverse it. And release. Bottom leg comes down. Top leg slides back out. We'll do our best to just lift up with control and come over to the other side. As we align on the other side, I'll remind us that we're starting with our spine along the back edge of the mat, and our heads are resting on that bottom arm. Knees bent, we start with our clams. Can we ensure that those hips are stacked one on top of the other, just as our shoulders are? Rib cage is lifted. Remember that imaginary piece of paper that we can think about sliding between our rib cage and the floor. That'll help us keep our core strong and engaged. 2 more. Last one. As the knees come together, lift the heel. Working through internal rotation here. That heel lifts, knees stay connected. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. As the heels come down, send those heels all the way out. Nice long spine, lifting and lowering with the top leg. Now this is that smaller leg lift. It comes about in line with the top of our hip. Our rib cage is still lifted, and we can use this top arm here. Bring it in front of the body to help you stabilize. 4, 3, 2, and last one, leg stays lifted. As we pulse that heel to the ceiling, let yourselves breathe. Point the toe, circle the leg forward. We're still breathing. We're still mobilizing that hip, and reverse it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that leg lifted. Flex the foot forward. Point the toe back. Kick forward. Kick back. Remember, we're sliding that leg along a straight line. Keep the bottom heel connected. Use it as your stabilizer. Kick forward. Kick back. Let's do 2 more together. Last one. Forward and back. Heels together. Spring up with the bottom leg. Or sorry, top leg. That would make more sense, right? Yeah. Bottom leg would be very difficult right now. Up and down. 3, 2, and 1 more. From here, bend the top knee. Let the leg come forward. Get a little myofascial release. Check in to ensure that the hips are stacked, that the shoulders are stacked, and we'll begin to mobilize that bottom leg, working through our adductors. Up and lower. Good. 3 more. 2 and 1. Hold it lifted. Pulse up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The bottom toes point. We circle ourselves forward and reverse it. 2 and 1. Release the leg. Take those legs one on top of the other. Slowly lift yourselves up. All right, we're coming onto our elbow. Bend those knees in line with your body, and we lift the hips up into our first side plank of the day. If we'd like, we can take our legs out or just one leg out and extended. Kind of get to choose here what works for you. Make sure that that shoulder is stacked over the elbow. Spine is long, core is strong. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hips come down. All right, lift yourselves up and go to the other side. Finding ourselves on that elbow. Knees are in alignment. Press the floor away. Lift the hips up. If you'd like, top leg comes out. Hold it here. 4 total planks that we've conquered so far today. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release down. Very good. All right, go ahead, come on up. As we come up, we sit up nice and tall, folding one leg in, extending the other leg out in front of us. Chest stays tall as we fold ourselves forward. Keeping our sits bones connected to the mat. Go ahead, rotate your torso, letting it face that extended leg. Maybe slowly rolling the spine forward, reaching for the ankle. Opening up through the side body. Let that top arm come overhead. Sits bones remain connected. 3, 2, and 1. Coming back up. All right, switch legs. We fold one knee in, extend the other leg out. Gently walk your torso forward. We keep our long spine. We'll do those same stretches on this other side. Big inhale. As we exhale, rotate the torso towards the extended leg. Let those hips sink down into the mat. Maybe even rolling through or walking the hands further towards the ankle. And when we're ready, open up the chest, facing the side of the room or your front of the room, whatever it may look like for you. Sinking into that side body stretch for 3, 2, and 1. Come on up. All right, lay it down on your mats. We are in our supine position, moving through some, not all, of our Pilates 5 ab series. We're starting today with crisscross. That's usually the last of our Pilates 5 exercises. Hands are at the base of our skull. We're gonna curl the chin up, nodding through the spine. From here, gently rotate right shoulder across the body and come back to center. Release the head and shoulders to the mat. We're starting really slow and controlled. You'll find that that can create a sense of burning as well. All right, nod the chin forward. Lift head and shoulder blades up. Then rotate left shoulder over across the body. Come back to center. Then lower down with control. Inhale, exhale, lift head and shoulder blades up. Hold, rotate, right arm across. You're just gonna alternate and hold. Come back to center, keep head and shoulder blades lifted. Roll down. Inhale, exhale, lift back up. Nod the chin, hold it. Rotate left elbow across the body. Hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to center, but don't let the head connect yet. Roll down. One more time, slow and controlled. Head lifts. We rotate right shoulder across. Hold. Is anyone feeling this yet? All right, all right. As long as I'm not the only one, come back to center. Then release. All right, nod the chin, hold it, rotate, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back to center, hold, and release. Very good. All right, take those feet up to the ceiling. For leg lower lift, hands can be by our sides or under the hips. Take those toes down about 6 inches and lift them back up. We'll do 5 more. Take a slight bend in the knees if that feels right for your low back. Hinging at the hips, pull up, 2, and 1. As those legs come back over the hips, Let the head and shoulders come up. We find our hands at the calf muscle for scissors, lower, and switch legs. Elbows wide. Control. Find that precision as we alternate legs. Inhale, exhale, switch. Inhale, exhale, switch. One more. From here, those heels come together, hands behind the base of the skull, the knees draw themselves in. We'll rotate those knees over to the right side of our body. Let them release all the way down if that's right for you. We're finding a nice side body stretch. Hold it. All right, use your obliques. Zip up through the inner thighs, lift those knees off of the mat, stack them back in. Now lower them to the other side with control. Try not to let those knees come apart. Oh, I know it's tough. Once those legs find the floor, keep both shoulders connected with the mat. Breathe into it. Draw the belly in, zip up through those inner thighs, use your obliques to lift the knees up, 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 and in. Hug those knees tight. As we do so, go ahead, rock them from side to side. From here, we'll roll ourselves up into a seated position and take your time to come up into a kneeling position. So whatever that may look like for you. We're coming onto those knees. Feel free to fold your mat over for some extra cushion under those knees. We're going into a little lateral stretch here. So, finding a big inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, bring the arms down. Another big inhale. And exhale. All right, from here, slide one hand down your thigh. Good, hold it there. And lift back up. Take it over to the other side. Take the opposite hand down the side of the thigh. Maybe we notice some differences from side to side. Maybe one side you could let your fingertips touch the floor and the other side may not. Come on up. We'll do that again on either side, just sinking into this stretch. Yeah, there's like, this side is so tight. It's so interesting for me. Come on up. Float over to the other side. All right, big inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale the left arm down, reach over. Even deeper into that side body stretch. Come up nice and slow. Inhale that arm up. Exhale the other arm down, slide it down your thigh, reach over. Fingertips reaching for where the ceiling meets the wall. 3, 2, and 1. Come up, inhale, and then press those hands back, opening up through the chest. Rounding through those shoulders, press those fingertips forward. One more time for expansion. Pressing the thumbs back. As our hands release, go ahead, take that right arm up and over the head. This is gonna feel a little funky. So we're letting our hand find our ear over here. And the weight of our arm is going to gently pull that ear down towards our shoulder. So we're not pulling on our head. We're just letting the weight of our hand guide us into this stretch. Now let your hand come away from the ear. Keep that nice stretch here. Let your chin drop down towards the floor below as we stretch through those scalene muscles in the neck. Another big inhale. Exhale, slide your chin up towards the ceiling. As the chin comes back to center, we'll release all the way back. Very good. Now let the other hand come up and over. It finds the ear. We let the head slowly drop towards that shoulder, using the weight of our hand to sink into this stretch. Notice how your body is working to balance here. As that hand melts to the floor below, let the chin drop down. Noticing a difference in that stretch. Big inhale. As we exhale, let the chin lengthen up towards the ceiling. Relax the shoulders down. Let the chin come back to center and come up tall. All right, roll through those shoulders. Noticing any tension that we may have. That's okay. We'll continue to work through it. Roll those shoulders forward. All right, one more breath to send you on your way. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, bring it down. All right, you guys are done with Pilates for today. Thanks so much for being here. If you're thinking, oh no, how do I get up? You can just, do so however you want, but bringing a knee forward and then using it as leverage may be helpful. But you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Thank you to everyone on Zoom. I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you next time as well. Y'all take care.